Hey! Hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron, and welcome back to the Gamertron Show. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to require your patience for a moment, as the following video requires a hefty bit of context. So, Colin Moriarty, the owner and creator of the Colin's Last Stand and Colin's Last Stand side quest YouTube channels, recently uploaded a video on his side quest channel called The Escapist, Politics, and How Games Journalist Ruined Games Journalism. It's an excellent video. I highly recommend you go watch it. Link in the description and in the comment section down below. Colin's excellent and well thought out presentation has actually had me rethinking on my stance about politics in video games. Anyhow, after watching the video, I decided to take a gander at Colin's Twitter account. You see, I like to check out the Twitter of my favorite content creators to see the funny memes, thoughtful insights, links to podcasts, just stuff they've done in post. Now, one of Colin's tweets sparked my curiosity, as I am unfortunately a sucker for retarded internet drama. Not because I actually care or are invested in it, I just find it hilarious. So I couldn't help but be curious about Colin's tweet on July 26th. I deleted my conversation with Brian, as it's just fueling a dumb fire. Brian? Brian who? After a bit of research and digging, I find out it's Brian Altano, host and producer at IGN. Now, while Colin originally deleted the conversation, this is the internet, and everything you post on the internet is eternal. So while I unfortunately was not able to find the entire Twitter conversation, I was able to find at least one screen grab of one particular tweet from Brian Altano. Who are your favorite right-wing conservative game developers? Who are your favorite right-wing conservative game writers? Who are your favorite right-wing conservative voice actors working in games? Animators, artists, musicians? They don't really exist. I wonder why. Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Isn't that quite the tweet? Quite the tweet indeed. Okay, to clear some stuff up, get some stuff out of the way, do not go after, insult, or harass Brian Altano or his place of employment, IGN. Don't go after his friends or family or try and get him fired from his job, you bloody lunatics. I'm here to discuss and critique the ideas and mindset presented in this tweet. This video is not about the person making the tweet, this is about the ideas and what was said in the tweet. We can separate the two. So let's discuss this idea, this mindset, this perspective, that there are supposedly no right-wing conservatives working in the games industry. One last disclaimer. I am a centrist. I don't play for either team, I'm not an extremist in either camp. I'm not here to push an agenda or create propaganda, I just want to have a discussion about this idea and perspective. So, are there no right-wing conservatives in the games industry? Bloody hell, of course not. That is such a naive way of thinking, such a broad generalization. It is statistically impossible that every single individual working in the games industry is left-leaning politically. Of course, there are right-wing conservatives working in the games industry. It wouldn't be realistic otherwise. People on every position on the political spectrum play and enjoy video games, so it only stands to reason that everyone in the political spectrum would also be interested in making games, writing for games, voice acting for games, animating for games, drawing for games, and making music for games. The arts, art in general, is not exclusive to the left. It's not exclusive to any political party, race, creed, religion. Art is inherently inclusive. It has the power to bring people of all walks of life together. And when it comes to specifically video games, to provide a personal example, I have friends all over the world, all different races and creeds and religions and political beliefs and associations that I met through video games. Okay, so we can easily establish through reality, facts, statistics that there are right-wing conservative video game developers, just right-wing conservatives in general associated with the games industry. But why, you may ask? Why do we rarely hear about them? Or why don't more people in the games industry express their right-wing conservative viewpoints? Two reasons: apathy and fear. Of course, there are always more unique, individual, nuanced reasons depending on the person, but to provide my personal perspective, I see it from two different angles, two different reasons, in the vast majority of cases that I have observed. First up, apathy. You see, one thing I've noticed comparing my liberal and conservative friends is that people on the left are more outgoing and expressive about their political views. Keep in mind, however, I am talking about normies, both on the right and the left, not people who are really invested in things like Gamergate, games journalism. I'm talking about more casual people, and specifically casual gamers, not the hardcore crowd that really invest in this kind of stuff. Because if you're a hardcore gamer and you're really invested about everything going on around gaming, well, it doesn't matter if you're on the right or the left, you're going to be very expressive about your political viewpoints and opinions. Getting back on track, what I've noticed, what I've observed from my casual and normie friends on the right and the left is that the people on the left more frequently, more openly, discussed and even boast about how they are on the left. Meanwhile, taking a gander at those who are more right-wing, more conservative, I notice they're not as open or expressive about it, unless directly asked or in a personal conversation. They're more interested in discussing and talking about their hobbies, whether it be sports, guns, history, movies, and of course, video games. Again, keep in mind, this is all just my perspective, what I've observed. I'm not saying this is the absolute truth about people on both sides, no. But from what I see, people who are more right-wing conservative are far more apathetic when it comes to expressing and talking about their political viewpoints and opinions. Of course, for the sake of fairness, I must bring up those who are far entrenched in their right-wing views, and they take great pride in letting you know about it. But when it comes more specifically to the gaming landscape, I notice more left-wing gamers are open about them being left-wing, and more right-wing conservative gamers just don't bring it up and don't care about it. They're more interested in the games than the politics. However, I cannot emphasize enough, this is all just personal conjecture when it comes to this first point about right-wing conservatives in the games industry being apathetic. I don't have all the statistics, I don't have all the facts to back that up and claim it to be an absolute. What I do have facts and statistics on, however, is my second point: fear. I have no doubt in my mind that right-wing conservatives working in the games industry are absolutely fearful about expressing their political opinions and views for fear of being fired, for fear of being labeled a racist or sexist by left-wing extremists. You know who I'm talking about: social justice warriors. And of course, video game journalists. We have a fair pile of examples to choose from. The Subnautica sound designer who was fired for fairly tame and generic conservative viewpoints on immigration and gender. He's right-leaning, can't have that. Here comes the Twitter hate mob to accuse him of being racist and transphobic. Well, there goes a man who was reportedly pretty good at his job, fired for having different political views. Up next, we have a games writer from Pillars of Eternity 2 who was forced to resign after yet another extreme leftist hate mob of SJWs went after him for having conservative viewpoints. And then there's the developer from the game The Last Night and his anti-feminist tweets. It is well documented and recorded that video game developers, individuals involved in the video game industry, that if they have right-wing conservative viewpoints, they will be targeted by an extreme leftist hate mob to get them fired. If you even have mildly conservative or right-wing viewpoints, you will be labeled a sexist or racist, labeled as transphobic. Oh yes, and God forbid you be pro-Gamergate, because then you'll rile up the ire of games journalists. Remember developer Warhorse Studios and their video game Kingdom Come Deliverance? And how there was a unified effort from a variety of different video games journalists to label them and their game racist because one of the developers was pro-Gamergate. So I am 100% confident in saying that the reason we don't see or hear about right-wing conservatives in the video game industry is out of fear. In fear of losing their jobs, for being fired, for being forced to resign, for being labeled a racist or a sexist by left-wing extremists for having conservative viewpoints. And I want to emphasize, these are extremists. Normal, everyday conservatives and liberals, Republicans and Democrats can easily get along and be friends with one another. They may not agree when it comes to politics, but movies, video games? Doesn't matter where you are on the political spectrum, everyone can enjoy and talk about and agree on things when it comes to these hobbies. art and entertainment. It's these extremists who are completely invested in the tribalism associated with political parties that are creating all these issues, this divisiveness, and this fear when it specifically comes to those with conservative right-wing viewpoints in the games industry. There are absolutely right-wing conservatives working in video games. Developers, designers, animators, musicians, voice actors. But they sure as hell aren't going to come out and be open about their political views. Moving on and going back to the original tweet that started this discussion, there's also something implied here from Brian Altano's tweet. The possible implications that right-wing conservatives aren't interested or aren't good at, or possibly even hate these professions in the video game industry or video games themselves. As you can guess what I'm probably going to say here, that's bullshit. And I would ask those of you who have this mindset, who share this idea, to take a moment to step back and ask yourself, is this realistic? Is this broad, sweeping generalization of everyone on a specific part of the political spectrum constructive or destructive? Does this create thoughtful discussion or closed-minded arguments? Does this bring people together or tear them apart? Does this encourage people, yourself included, to be better, to grow, or to be stagnant and callous? I look at this tweet, I look at the ideas, I look at the mindset presented, and I don't see a productive or healthy way of thinking, the exact opposite. I see tribalism, I see stubbornness, I see a perspective that goes against one of the most beautiful things video games, gaming, the industry has to offer. Bringing people together. Of every skin color, of every opinion, of every walk of life. That is one of the greatest accomplishments of video games. How they bring people together no matter who you are. And what I see from extremists in the gaming community and in the games industry, specifically when it comes to games journalism, is that they want to purge everyone and everything that they disagree with that makes them uncomfortable or doesn't validate them. However, I want to emphasize again that these people are extremists and that this isn't exclusive to the left. We've also seen a rise of people on the right accusing video games of being social justice propaganda, SJW video games, for games that have stories or characters that just slightly lean to the left, like Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, Mass Effect Andromeda, the most recent Fallout games, and a variety of Ubisoft games. Oh yeah, and Overwatch. Extremists on both the left and the right really hate Overwatch. Extremists on the right claim there's too much diversity, and extremists on the left claim there's not enough diversity. And you know what I say? I say, let's not let these extremists dictate and divide us. Fuck these tribalistic, closed-minded viewpoints. I don't care if you're on the right or you're on the left, you're in the center like me, you're all welcome here. Not everyone we disagree with when it comes to politics or gaming automatically makes them evil. We can disagree on a variety of things and still be the best of friends. I have friends on the right and the left who easily get along with one another. My parents have friends on the right and the left who get along with each other. My YouTube channel consists of thousands of subscribers from both the right and the left that get along with each other over their shared passion of video games. Just because we don't agree on everything doesn't mean we can't enjoy one another's company. I guess to wrap this up, what I want to say is, life is too short to be hateful and fearful about people that don't agree with you on everything, that have different opinions, whether it be politics or video games. And specifically when it comes to video games, we play video games seeking entertainment, joy, and there is none of that to be had in projecting hate and fear over other people. Anyways, that's been a video. I hope you liked the video. If you indeed liked the video in any way, shape, or form, please be sure to hit the like button. The like button helps me, helps everybody involved with the video. If you hit the like button, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts, feelings, opinions on the topic of this video? I'd love to read them in the comment section down below. If you want to help out and support this video, then please share it on social media, Twitter and Facebook. If you want to help out and support me directly, well, there's always Patreon. Anyways, guys, that's been a video, and I'll see you all later.